Yes, people are still beating this topic over the head for the millionth time. So let this video be the final nail in the coffin. It's 2024, and that same tired question is being blasted around social media and various news outlets. Why don't men approach women anymore? And please, let me stop you there. If you're on the bandwagon of, I don't want to be approached, we don't need men, or men are useless anyway, stop reading. This ain't for you. Save your comments for the birds. That title and question should really change, because it's not really a question of men not approaching women anymore. It could be more of a question of why some shitty men are still approaching women. But where are the good ones? Where are the men from the rom-coms and reality shows that seem to sweep women off of their feet easily? The ones that some of your happily married friends or friends in successful relationships told you about, they're out there. I can promise you that. Number 1, being passed up for more attractive men. The idea here is that there are perfectly good men out there who are right for the lady in question. He fits her emotional needs and physical needs with what she finds attractive. But there's another option that is just slightly more attractive than the original option she had. Imagine having a golden retriever that's loyal and playful, but then someone offers you a unicorn that does your taxes. This can be explained by a scientific theory called social comparison, which is a common phenomenon in human relationships, where individuals evaluate themselves based on their perceived similarities and differences with others. In the context of dating and relationships, social comparison can play a significant role in shaping our preferences and decisions. For example, when a woman encounters 2 potential partners and perceives one as slightly more attractive than the other, they may be more inclined to choose the more attractive person as a romantic partner. Are there exceptions to this rule? Yes, of course. But on the balance of probability, it is highly unlikely. This is because they may believe that the more attractive partner can offer better benefits in terms of social status, mating opportunities, and resources. A social psychologist, Solomon Asch, put it, in the sphere of social comparison, we tend to make evaluations in terms of the relative excellence or worth of different objects. Men fail to approach a woman because they don't always have the energy to compete with other men. Now, I'm not faulting any woman who does this. This is your prerogative, and it's your God-given right for anyone to go for the best options they can get. But I believe the decision-making process of finding a mate needs to be deeper than how they look. I could be wrong, though. Studies have shown that people who are perceived as more attractive tend to receive more favorable treatment in various domains, including employment, education, and even in the criminal justice system. This phenomenon is known as the beauty bias. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that people were more likely to forgive attractive individuals for their mistakes than unattractive individuals. 2. Rejection isn't for everyone. Unfortunately, not all men are fortified with an iron heart that withstands untold amounts of rejection, and sometimes it gets them to a point where they wonder why they should I even bother. They are done with being passed up, so they're done with even making an effort. Let's not stop there, though. Social comparison is not limited to physical appearance. People may also compare themselves to others in terms of intelligence, success, or wealth. In these cases, women may seek out partners who they perceive to be smarter, more successful, or more wealthy than themselves. This type of social comparison can lead to a sense of inadequacy or low self-esteem, which in turn can drive people to seek out partners who they believe can help boost their own social status. I don't live under a rock. The argument is that women are leveling up, right? They're raising their standards, right? They're going for the best men out there because they're the best women out there. Go get yours, queen. Here's the problem with that logic. We can't all date and marry 10S. Yes, I know I've drummed that down to its most basic concept, but we can't. We can't all date rich, tall, super handsome, super successful, and super awesome men. The math just doesn't add up. The problem is modern society has kissed your ass and promised you and pushed you to obtain this kind of man, when what they should be saying is, he might be a little out of shape, he might be 5'9", or only make $70K a year, which is decent money BTW. But he'll love you fearlessly. He'll be a great husband and loving father and help you raise a good household. It ain't sexy. But it ain't far from the truth. Number 3, it's become a nightmare. Approaching women in Western culture can be a nightmare for some men. A lot of men genuinely feel like there are so many entitled women who expect men to do all the major heavy lifting. So many men would rather eat nails than approach a woman. For the men who actually believe in equality, they can't wrap their brains around the paradigm of dating in the modern world, but are still held to the standards of traditional dating that can be found around the same time as Jim Crow laws. When someone has an entitled attitude, they believe that they are entitled to certain privileges or benefits without having to contribute or reciprocate in a meaningful way. Most men won't waste their time on this because they know it creates a power imbalance in the relationship and make the other person feel like they're not valued or respected. There have been numerous studies on the impact of entitled attitudes in relationships, and they have found that they can lead to decreased satisfaction and even relationship breakdown. For example, a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people with higher levels of entitlement tended to have less satisfying relationships and were more likely to engage in relationship destabilizing behaviors, such as being critical or demanding. Men who unfortunately encounter women with entitled attitudes may feel like they are not appreciated and that all the responsibility of a simple interaction rests on their shoulders. This just doesn't work, because conversations are turn-taking exercises. If one person is an observer, and hoping that one person impresses them, it's doomed from the start. This can be discouraging and make them reluctant to approach them. Or worse, they've tried it a few times and fallen flat on their face with their approach. One example of this can be seen in the book, The Psychology of Love, by Robert J. Sternberg, which discusses how entitled attitudes can lead to power imbalances and dissatisfaction in relationships. Sternberg notes that when one person believes they are entitled to certain benefits or privileges without having to contribute to the relationship, it can create a dynamic in which the other person feels taken advantage of and resentful. Some men are very resentful now. I can't say I agree with them, but the burden of male performance when it comes to courtship is beginning to hit critical mass, as some modern women will refuse to let things be on an even playing field. These men will eat things such as red pill YouTube channels and follow dudes like Andrew Tate for solace. I don't want this for modern men. There are better options for dealing with your frustrations of being rejected, but don't let that discourage you. Luckily, there are a large number of good women out there waiting to meet someone like you, and if you're not getting the interest or signs you're looking for, it's probably not the right match. Anyway, dating is not a competition. You don't have to put in thousands of approaches to find the right woman. Is there a perfect balance? The perfect balance for both men and women to meet strangers while remaining safe and beneficial for both parties can be achieved through mutual respect and clear communication. Both parties should feel comfortable and confident in expressing their boundaries and should make a conscious effort to listen to and respect the boundaries of others. Women must take necessary precautions, such as meeting in public places and letting friends and family know about the plans. It is also recommended to trust one's instincts and to never feel pressured to do something that feels uncomfortable or unsafe. Finding the perfect balance requires a combination of common sense, open communication, and mutual respect. The solution to achieving equality in relationships will likely involve a combination of shifting societal norms and expectations, as well as the active effort of individuals to challenge these norms. It's up to each person to determine what approach works best for them, whether it's taking a more passive role or taking the initiative to make the first move. But let's not lose hope entirely. We can still find ways to meet new people and potentially make a connection, whether it's through work, school, or online dating apps. There are still opportunities out there. And who knows, maybe one day the fear of approaching women will become a thing of the past. Until then, let's focus on our own missions and purpose and see where it takes us.